It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us, along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again to the program.
Thank you.
We have a little break this time from the last meeting, which was over 3 hours long. This one was 43 minutes long on August 20th. A number of items to touch on. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, before that meeting, you had a special meeting to talk about the budget. And we've talked about this a few times. Give us a progress report. How's the budget coming along, and what can homeowners maybe expect coming up this fall?
Sure. So we start our internal work on budget right after audit wraps up. So we wrap up the last year and get started on the budget for the following year. We started our internal meetings in June after receiving the department requests, and then try to get that in shape to bring forward to the council. So Monday night, August 20th, was our first budget workshop with the council. Went well. We always kind of walk through where we've been historically and what's happening with property values, those kinds of things. I think where we landed, pretty modest budget approach this year. I think, you know, we continue to see continued growth, both in tax base and then growth, of course, in market value as well. So both of those things help us in absorbing, you know, increased operational costs. The other piece is, you know, a lot of the retirements we've been experiencing, you know, people at the top end of the pay scale retiring, and then we hire, we're not quite at that top end of the pay scale, so we've seen some reduction in our salary costs as well over the past year. So with that, where the council was headed, we have to set our preliminary levy by the end of September. That sort of sets the high water mark. We can go down from there, not up. So we are planning to bring forward a preliminary levy at the September 4th meeting. It allows for more discussion, and then if there's any changes, we can always come back at that second meeting in September to finish that up before the deadline at the end of the month. So where we're sitting right now is about a 1.63% levy increase, and then just over a 2% budget increase. And this allows us some flexibility to deal with some staffing concerns. We haven't added staff in Public Works for some time, and we continue to add lane miles to the city. And so our goal is to be able to plow the city in about 6 hours, and depending on the snow event, that can be done or can be more challenging, but we're seeing that becoming harder to do just with the lane miles that we're adding. And then in addition, as we've talked about community development staffing, needing to look at that and the structure of that department and the potential for some additional staffing there. So this budget gives us that room to look at those items, and we'll continue to do that between now and then we of course have to set the final budget and levy in December of this year.
All right, so there's your update on the process, and we'll keep you updated as the process moves along and any changes that happen. Again, nothing big from consent on the meeting from the 20th, but we want to move right to the open forum. And the first public hearing dealt with Copper Creek of Nottingham, and this is a infill project, and you're going to see a little bit of theme here in this meeting and coming up, talking about some housing in the area. Tell us about this project.
Yeah, so this is about a 9-lot kind of an infill development in the southwest area of the city, right off of Nottingham Parkway in that area. So this is really the public hearing for the public improvements associated with this, street, sewer, those kinds of things. So held the public hearing on this one, and that one will move forward likely with some construction yet this fall.
All right. Next project was Cook Lake of Maple Grove, and this is a project that would involve a number of homes as well, and around a lake that maybe some people in the city don't even know about. Tell us about this beautiful property and what's planned there.
Yeah, kind of a hidden treasure back behind Lord of Life Church, the northwest quadrant of 101 and Bass Lake Road. So seeing a lot of activity out there at the Southwest Crossroads area. With the Hy-Vee project moving forward, we've got some townhomes going on the southwest corner, some activity on the northeast corner. So now this is kind of that northwest corner, seeing some movement there. So 42 lots, kind of that small lot single family. I think what we're seeing here is they really pushed away from the lake. It's about a 260 plus foot buffer from the homes back to the lake. This is a kind of a highly, a really kind of a natural environment lake. A lot of tree cover out there, so I think this is going to be a really nice development. They really did a lot of work to try to preserve what's there and kind of leave it untouched. A lot of additional tree plantings associated with this project. These are going to be, again, the small lot single family, so Charles Cudd will be the builder on this one. We think it'll be a really nice project. So this one, they're going to get going on some grading yet this fall, it looks like, and get going, and hopefully start to see some bigger building activity, of course, in the spring. But, yeah, so this one, that was kind of the final approval on that one from a land use
Very
perspective.
good. Busy corner of the city.
Yep.
Another busy area is up by Territorial Road and that area. So we have Territorial Greens. Give us an update on that area. And this had come through the Planning Commission,
Yep.
but I understand was denied at the Planning Commission level to look at some traffic. So give us all that background.
Yeah, denied at the Planning Commission in late July, and I think the concerns that were raised were about traffic on Fernbrook and that intersection with Territorial when you're coming out to head south
Right.
towards County Road 81. New apartment project going in today up there and some townhomes. This would have added some additional small lot, single family type development, a future apartment, a little bit of the townhome type product. So a number of additional units there kind of going to the east from the development that's currently occurring. I think that, the traffic concerns are twofold, really. It's about what, this additional development will put on the roads, but also, what's coming down from the north up in Dayton.
Sure.
A lot of development occurring up the Fernbrook corridor there. And so all that traffic comes south to access County Road 81 or 610 or Maple Grove Parkway over to 94.
Right.
And so how are we managing that? So with that Planning Commission denial, we asked that this be tabled for an opportunity for a broader traffic study. That really needs to be done sort of in coordination with Hennepin County. Fernbrook's a county road, County Road 81's a county road, Maple Grove Parkway that intersection would be a county, that extension up to Fernbrook would be a county extension. So we're going to move forward with that traffic study with Dayton and Hennepin County. Coordinating that. So we're anticipating that this will probably come back late September, early October for reconsideration after we know what the traffic study says. So likely some interim improvements that could be done along Fernbrook, and we always think about that in terms of turn lanes or turning stop signs, those kinds of things to help control traffic flow. But we'll kind of see what options come up through that traffic study.
So kind of a immediate issue, but also a bigger picture issue of what happens to Maple Grove Parkway and just what happens to traffic flow out in that area.
Yeah, I think that the notion of the Maple Grove Parkway extension up to Fernbrook was a little bit more longer term plan, something that was a little bit more in the offing. But I think what we're seeing up there today with interest in the development and then what's happening to the north, it may move that up a little bit.
Okay, very good. So that's Territorial Greens, some of the work happening there. Had a chance to hear some of the other items coming up in community development, and that department continues to be busy. Give us a brief look at some of those coming up. Yeah,
a lot of projects, residential development, Ostrom Hills, it's just 15 single-family lots, 68th and Lawndale area, so again, back to the southwest area of town. Beehive Homes, this is for 20 units of assisted living, kind of right off of Weaver Lake Drive across from Boston Scientific there.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of a change in use. I think that was initially thought that would be a church site, but this developer is interested in that for some assisted living type uses.
Sure.
We have the Arbor Lakes Commerce Center, which again is the old Hilger site, the old dump site there at Weaver and Zachary, so that kind of that northeast corner of that intersection. Likely development on this one won't start till the spring. They've got some significant cleanup to do, and this is the one that got about just shy of $2 million in grants for that cleanup.
Right.
They better to proceed with that work in the spring, allow for some soil drying, that kind of a thing. So we anticipate that moving forward in the spring, but going through the process to get the land use approvals done, get the TIF agreement in place, because this is part of that gravel mining TIF area, the new TIF legislation that we received. So this council will be looking at these pieces in September and October for that one.
Okay, very good. Ken Ashfield had a little update from Public Works, and that dealt mostly with what we talked about earlier, Territorial Road and that traffic study happening there. Other engineering items coming up. We've got some action that's happening. Let's talk about the forest preservation land. This is something that was covered a while back, but now it's being tidied up. Yeah, so the parcel lands referred to as Ethel Acres. It was owned by the Gottschalk family. Again, back down to the southwest corner of the city. It was kind of a tract of land that was in the midst of a number of parcels that were owned by either Three Rivers Park District or the city for forest preservation or parkland. So this was sort of a kind of filling in the hole there. I think the city had looked at acquiring this many years ago, and so and that didn't occur at that time, and so the family came back recently and was interested in seeing if the city
wanted to move forward with that. So the council looked at a purchase agreement. It's probably been 3-4 months ago or so we finally got to closing on that.
Great.
So now we'll move forward to kind of take stock of that and see how it weaves through the other pieces of land that are out there under city ownership. Couple projects, road improvement projects. So the Wedgwood project, kind of very visible there out in front of Cub and in front of that, or behind that retail strips there. That paving is complete. I think I saw
Very
they're working on striping now. So some inconvenience associated with that for our business owners in that area, but that project moved pretty quick. So hopefully everybody's recovering on that one. And then Forest View Lane, that extension through the Mill Creek development there between Weaver and 89th, making that connection there. That road is open now, so more access to that development up there.
Very good. So
Yep.
that's your engineering update from the meeting on the 20th. From Heidi, the city administrator update. One thing was HR director interviews. The
Yes.
process continues on, but it's nearing the finish line. Where are we now?
So tomorrow evening, the August 23rd, we are doing final interviews. We have 4 finalists for that position, so we're looking forward to tomorrow night and hopefully coming out of there with the recommendation and see that on our September 4th council agenda. So
right.
looking forward to wrapping that process up and getting somebody on board.
2 other quick items that were touched on in a few other notes at the meeting were, one, Brick and Bourbon, that is
Yes.
open now, and
It
some
is.
people have stopped in and said
Yes.
it's a beautiful site.
It is. They put a lot of work into the interior of that establishment. So, and the patio is still under development. They're still
Okay.
working on that, so patio is not quite open yet. And I know they've had a couple of challenges. They had a burglary and they had a water line break. So we're hoping they catch some better luck here
Yes.
going forward. But yeah, they are open for business and getting pretty good reviews.
Excellent.
As
Well,
well.
welcome to the city to them.
Yep.
One other note of a police response that we want to touch
Yeah.
on that might have some educational value for a lot of viewers. Give us a little recap of what happened and what people maybe can learn from this.
Yeah, so a really unfortunate incident last Friday evening where we had a carbon monoxide situation in a home. It was in a 4-plex where unfortunately a 62-year-old woman lost her life in that situation. Our officers that were responding were also overcome with some of the CO2 impacts and had to be treated for that. And they have returned to service and
Great.
and they're doing well, but kind of a scary time for everybody, and certainly unfortunate in the loss of life there. I think the message is make sure you have carbon monoxide detectors in your home that are working, that you're testing them when they go off. Pay attention. Give a call to 911. I think one of the interesting pieces being out at National Night Out, a lot of people ask about incidents or things that are happening in the neighborhood, and they wonder what they should do, and we say, give a call to 911, and I think people are always reluctant to call
Sure.
911 unless they feel like it's, something's on fire or somebody's bleeding or something's
Right.
really, difficult. But really, we just encourage people, if there's a question, give a call.
Okay.
We would much rather come out and take a look at a situation and resolve that it's nothing than have a situation like this occur where we have loss of life and our public safety professionals impacted. So never hesitate to pick up the phone and give a call and check those things out, and then of course have those systems in your home and really pay attention. They're there to let you know when there's a problem, and usually there's something going on. Where there's smoke, there's fire, we always say. So just a reminder to keep those things in place and
good.
give a call to 911 when you have concerns.
Good point, and that was passed along again
Yep.
at the end of the council meeting. So that's the wrap from the meeting from the 20th. We'll give you the next meeting date in just a couple minutes, but we do want to note now that that is a day later because of Labor Day, so it'll be on Tuesday, the 4th of September.
That's
correct?
correct. That's correct. Yep.
So we'll tell you more about that in just a second. Let's talk about some other things happening in town while we have a few minutes, and believe it or not, it's state fair time, and that means you're going to get some people to the fair in a very efficient way. How does the city help out?
So we do weekend and Labor Day service from the Arbor Lakes Transit Center there, the Maple Grove Transit Center right behind Arbor Lakes. $5 round trip per
Great.
person. Bus service comes very frequently, every 30 minutes from 8 a.m. to midnight. Parking is free there, and again, it's cash only. So if
Okay.
you're coming, make sure you have cash on hand for each of the individuals that's getting on the bus with you. And then, of course, it drops off at that new wonderful bus entrance point, kind of on the west end of the fair. So right into the right next to that new West End Market area, and it works really, really well. All buses have wheelchair accessibility,
Fantastic.
so we can accommodate that as well. I usually take this service to the fair, and it's really a great way to go. Park right there, don't have to drive into the traffic and park at the fair, so we really encourage people to take advantage of it.
So you can open your fair map or your coupon book on the bus ride down and plan your strategy.
That's right.
And then eat all of the Martha cookies on the way back, right?
That's right.
Can you bring cookies on the bus?
For sure.
Yes, all right,
Yes.
then we're good to go there.
Yes.
Let's talk about some publications coming out. The first one is the fall newsletter. What might we see there, and when does that come out?
Yep, so all 32 pages covering all the months of activities, September, October, November,
Great.
and pertinent articles as we get into the winter months here.
All right, so be watching for that, and also coming out soon is going to be the Park and Rec Fall Activity Guide. So
Yep.
again, that's a separate publication that comes out, and that really talks about ways for people to sign up themselves as adults or their kids.
That's right, all the recreational opportunities that are available throughout the city, so that'll be
right.
coming out too.
And we'll talk about some of those rec opportunities in a second. How about the photo contest? It just wrapped up as far
Yep.
as the judging. I had a chance to, again, be
Yes.
honored to be a judge of that, and it was difficult.
Yes.
But how do you use these pictures again?
Yeah.
These are really a gem for the city
They
to be
are.
able to use for publications.
Yeah, it's a treat to be able to, our Facebook posts, our website,
Right.
any of our publications that we do when we're out doing presentations to different groups, PowerPoint presentations, we really try to use pictures that are from Maple Grove. And I think it provides a really nice image of the community and really gives people a flavor of what Maple Grove is. And so we really appreciate those that contribute. We hope that, hopefully they get to see their work represented
Yeah.
in our communications efforts or marketing efforts of the city. And those winning photographers will receive their award at the September 17th Maple Grove City Council meeting. And Carol Morris oversees this for the city, and she always provides kind of a nice overview of those pictures, and they'll be available on our website as well. So.
And as I understand it, even some of the ones that don't win are still considered as ones that might be able to be used in the city
absolutely.
publications as
Yep.
well. So even people turning in pictures is a great bonus for the city.
Yep.
We've got a few things in public safety to talk about, and these are ways for the public to get involved, younger folks and also some adults as well. First, let's start with Adult Citizens Police Academy.
Yep.
Why should people be interested in this? Why should people maybe take a few nights out of their winter and fall?
Yeah, so this is just a great opportunity to get a better understanding of public safety and law enforcement in the community. You really get kind of an inside view to the work that they do and how they do their work, and maybe why they approach things in the way that they do. So if you have an interest in that, or you're curious, or you have concerns, I think sometimes this can really provide you some good insight. And you get to know the officers and the folks that deliver this service on a more human level, I guess.
Right.
Versus just the uniform, and you find out that these are men and women coming to work every day to serve the community and kind of get a better understanding of their work. So 11 Tuesdays starting September 25th, law enforcement profession, criminal justice system in the community. They take you on tours, bring in different speakers. It's really a great program. Applications are accepted through September 15th, and those are available on our city website. So really encourage people to consider this option.
And again, free of charge, Maple Grove residents, students, and business owners. So go to the website to find out more about that. Police Explorer Post. This is something we're looking for a little bit of the younger crowd.
Yeah.
Who can get involved, and why should they?
Yeah, so this is for young men and women ages 14 to 21 who are interested in learning about policing, law enforcement careers, and how officers handle situations they face on a daily basis. So they do a lot of training. This Explorer Post gets to participate in some competitions and some national conferences, those kinds of things. Meetings are held 6 p.m. every Monday at the Maple Grove Police Department. Information on our website that they can sign up to be a part of this program.
Very good. And we don't want to leave out the fire department, so
No.
they have a similar type of activity for people that might want to get into fire activities. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So this is for something for middle school or high school students. Maple Grove Fire Explorer program promotes and teaches fire service skills and knowledge to young men and women between the ages of 15 and 21.
Great.
In addition to particular information about the fire service, they learn things about team building, communication, public education. So it's really a great program for these kids to get involved with. Meets twice a month, the second and fourth Thursdays at 6 p.m. at the Fire Station 2 right there on Maple Knoll Way. And if you have requests for information, that's available on our website, or just giving a call up to the Government Center to talk to somebody in the fire department.
Very good. And if
Yep.
those reasons are enough to get involved, probably a good thing to have on your resume as a young
Oh,
person to go through
absolutely.
something like this and
Yep.
have that connection with adults and that type of training. So
Absolutely.
can't hurt. All right. Town Green, believe it or not, the season is
Yeah.
wrapping up. Tell us how the season has been so far and what
Yeah.
might be a couple final opportunities to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's been a great season. I don't think they've had many, I mean, we've been so dry.
Yes, that's true.
That's the one benefit of it, I guess. But I don't even think they've had a lot of rainouts or storm
Good for them.
impacts for the season. So the season's going to wrap up this coming week. August 23rd, the Jolly Pops, that's kids entertainment. That's tomorrow, of course, Thursday during the day if you're watching this here right away. August 24th, the Alfred Hitchcock movie Notorious will be on the screen. And then August 31st, the Lion King movie. So
Fun.
quick end of the season here, but yeah, it's been a great season out there. When I've been, around the office or around there later into the evening, there's been robust crowds in
Yeah,
attendance.
some good crowds going out. Hats off to the Park and Rec staff for putting that together.
Yep.
Farmers Market, we want to let you know that that continues on, and this is really the peak season, so
Yeah.
what should people do if they want to get out and get some produce?
So every Thursday, 3 to 7, it continues with that schedule through September. We trim up the hours a little bit in October as the days get shorter to 3 to 6, but every Thursday they're outside at the community center, and then it goes through the end of October pretty much. So tomato season is here.
Okay,
all
good.
kind of those late
Check.
summer vegetables. And so, yeah, I've been out there a few times, and the offerings are really great and wide variety. So
Excellent.
encourage everybody to come out.
Stop by and enjoy that. We've talked quite a few times about the age-friendly work in the city of Maple Grove, and we have an upcoming event that's going on. Give us a little recap. What is Age-Friendly Initiative, Age-Friendly Maple Grove, and where are we headed with this?
Yeah, so this is an initiative that's really led by the World Health Organization and then ARP.
Okay.
For that organization that serves retired individuals. So we have been working on this. It really talks about how a community approaches issues of how, from the built environments to its programs and policies to be more age-friendly. Has 8 different domains that we look at: built environment, transportation system, housing, services, social connection, all those kinds of things. And we have a community or a committee made up of community members that serves and leads this effort, which is great. We love having that sort of community involvement, a real broad array of folks that either work in the industry or live here, and it's really provided a great perspective to this process.
Sure.
So they're having an open house on Thursday, September 20th from 2 to 5 p.m. at the community center, and this really is to kind of take a look at the council recently approved a work plan associated with the age-friendly initiative, and again goes back to all those things we mentioned and different things that we'll be working on over the next really kind of 3 to 5 years to move the implementation of this initiative forward.
Very good.
Yep.
Are elements of this part of the comprehensive plan? We haven't talked about those fun words for a while, but
Yeah.
I would take it they tie together in some way.
Absolutely, yeah. So the age-friendly initiative was a component of our comprehensive
Okay.
plan, and really it becomes sort of a lens through which that we look at different opportunities, and we've often commented that if you build something to accommodate somebody who's 80, it generally serves also somebody who's 8.
Right.
So it's that kind of that 8 to 80 concept is you really become almost, it's along the lines of accessibility and making spaces work for a broad range of ages.
Very good. And while we have a minute, we should mention the comp plan. We have
Yep.
been quiet on that for a while, but what stage is it in now, and are we coming to the finish line of that pretty soon?
Yeah, so we are in the process of reviewing our neighbors' comp
Okay.
plans, that we get all those and are asked to comment on those. And of course, we have a lot of areas to comment on. We talk about the growth to the north in Dayton,
Sure.
and the growth to the west in Corcoran, and Rogers to our northwest corner. Those are things that have direct impacts on Maple Grove, and we want to make sure that each of those cities are attending to those things as it as that traffic and
Sure.
flows south. But also, their residents are coming to Maple Grove for services, whether it be healthcare services or shopping or, those kinds of things. And so recognizing that relationship between those cities and how we accommodate growth. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is reviewing our neighbors' comp
Okay.
plans. Ours is, of course, out for comment, so we're
Right.
receiving those comments, and then we'll respond to those before that gets submitted on to the Met Council. It's due by the end of December. Our
Okay.
goal is not to be doing that on New Year's Eve.
Good
of
idea,
course,
right.
But hopefully we'll be wrapping that up here as we head into the late fall.
Very good.
Yep.
All right, Heidi, well, thank you very much
You're
again for your time. Again, a lot going on in the city of Maple Grove. Let's take you back to that date of the next council meeting. Mentioned it's going to be a day later, so it's going to be on Tuesday, September 4th, 7:30 at the Government Center. You see the phone number at the bottom of the screen. Website at the top. We mentioned a lot of things that are going on, that the website is a connection, especially some of those things in public safety with the Explorers and also chances to get involved in the fire department. So look there to find more information and also about the election that is coming up in November. Comments, questions about the program? Our viewer response line 533-1710. Be happy to take your call. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks again for joining us.